Wait, this week it's not really a jolly opening. It's a simple message to the owners of football clubs. If you have underperformed this year and feel the need to put your prices up on season tickets, fucking don't. Fans are already being priced out of the game as it is, and we're now experiencing one of the worst cost of living crises of our lifetime. We supported our clubs through a pandemic by buying tickets, buying streams, and buying merchandise, despite not being able to attend games. Now it's your turn to support us and give back. Without the fans you are nothing. It's time you realize that. It's the lower league look. It's the lower league look. It's the lower league look. It's the lower league look.
See, that's how we get people to shut up, isn't it? Guys, welcome to episode 12 of the lower league. Look, bit late this week. Chris disappeared. He went to Scunthorpe and they absolutely battered him into the ground. He can't handle his drink and he's now here on Wednesday, finally sober.
Can I just say, I don't think there was any point at the time I was there that I did not have a pint in my hand, and that is included in the ground. Oh my God! Anyway, we'll talk.
I mean, that's
about
the test you get when you're about 5'2", isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you're only 5'3", so
honestly, it's all the time, guys. Right. So before we get into it, I've got an idea, and we're going to start it off with it. You guys don't know what this idea is.
Oh no!
I'm honestly,
mate, I knew you were having an idea because I could smell the burning.
Yeah.
Smell the burning from up here. Like,
well, I'm gonna share the screen. Okay.
Oh God! Make sure it's not like no EFL stuff because they'll get the.
No, we're allowed now. We're allowed EFL stuff. We got a notification saying the EFL have dropped all cases against us. So here we go, guys. Can you see this wheel?
I can.
This wheel has 1 to 24 on it. Grant, you're going to go first. Chris, you're going to go second. I'm going to spin it for you.
Do you want to tell us what it's all about, or what we're spinning?
It's what I'm doing now. Whatever number you land on, that's your number for next season. And when the season starts and the teams are laid out, all 24 teams, whatever team is in your number, that is your team for next season. What you have to do at one point next season is alone get to a home game.
Oh, fair. I'm up for it.
I bet you I get fucking Exeter.
I hope you do. I swear to God, I hope you do.
I've got to do it as well. I'm going to draw this up, but you've got to go alone. You've got to go alone. Chris has done some vlogging at Scunthorpe, and I think that would be quite funny for us each to do individually at a game. Get there. That's going to be your team for the season. I want you to know what the players are earning.
Let's do it.
Right. Here we go, Grant.
I'm just waiting to see here, right? I'm going to get fucking Exeter. I know I'm going to have to go from.
It's all right. Exeter going up. Exeter going up. Don't worry.
I'm just enjoying the Acer adverts, to be honest.
I really hope you get Morecambe.
This is Grant. Grant, you are number 18. Make a note. Grant is 18th in the table. Anyone listening, pay attention to it. 18 for Grant.
So this is when we know the alphabetical order of the teams.
Yes.
Really annoyingly, it's not going to be Exeter.
Not unless 17 teams between A and C come up and down.
Go on then.
Let's go. Chris, off you go. Here's Chris's team. It can't be your own team, by the way. If it's your own team, you move to the next number down. Unlucky for some, that's 13.
Oh, brilliant. That's going to be like someone like... That's going to be
Mansfield.
Someone like Morecambe.
Mansfield, yeah. You're going Derek Adams. Oh, it'd be awesome.
Oh, do you know, I'll get battered.
Yeah. Now it's my turn. Fucking two. Go Bradford.
Oh,
20. That's going to be, I mean, if we look at the League Two table, now let's just bring this back. So I'm
just going to say, bring the League Two table up.
Yeah. Do you want me to bring it up on here?
Yeah.
In fact, I can't bring it up on here. Can't bring it up on here. They get pissy enough when I bring up anything.
Well, listen, in a couple of weeks, we'll work it out.
So League Two table, that's going to be, I'm 20. It's going to be someone like Rochdale. Get in! It's 20 minutes from my house. Going to Rochdale.
I'm quite up for an away day somewhere. I mean, I enjoyed. Listen, I've mentioned it already. I enjoy my Scunthorpe day. So, yeah, let's see what happens.
I'm going to have a look to see who I think it could be with 18. Right.
To be fair, if it was this season, I would be going to. Oh.
I reckon we could almost work this out. To be honest,
this season. I'd be going to Stevenage.
Oh,
Who would I be going to? 18.
Who are you? 18. You would be at Scunthorpe United, sir.
I've always been at Scunthorpe. Definitely won't be there next year.
Hey, I tell you what, you enjoy it as well.
13, I think, will. Tell you what, Chris, tell us a little bit about your day at your fucking 4 days at Scunthorpe, including the hangover, and I'm going to work out who you'd have got this season.
I tell you what, it was great, absolutely brilliant. I saw a lot. I met Will, I met Stu, I met Matty, and I met. I forgot his name. What was his name? Come on, what was his name? You might have to cut this bit out.
No.
We don't do editing. Liam says he tries a lot of editing, but
and I met. Come on, what was his name? Jason. And it was really nice. We started the morning off, just so you know, morning, in a nice pub, had a little chat. I'm going to do 2 videos this week, I think. So one of them's going to be us chatting about Scunthorpe United, which I've done a little bit of editing, and they're going to be in the first bit. But it was the second pub for me was the one where I met some of the fans that were even more pissed off of what's going on in their minds of what's going on at the club. And there was obviously there was a protest. Got to the ground. On the 72nd minute. So because 72 years in the Scunthorpe been in the Football League, they threw some tennis balls on the pitch, and then there was a little mini.
What was the symbolism of the tennis balls?
72 years. So it was 72.
Why tennis balls though?
It just stops playing. It's hard if you throw one ball on.
I think it was just the fact that it was easy enough to probably sneak in. Fair
enough. I mean, at the old firm, they chucked glass bottles in the pitch.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, but that wasn't.
Problem is, with Scunthorpe, they were just looking to protest. The old firm, they're looking to kill.
Yeah, it's just Glasgow, isn't it?
And I'll tell you one thing: they did not stop singing all game. They were incredible. I tell you what, they put a lot of clubs to shame, including ours truly, if I'm honest. They just sung and sung and sung. They all stayed there till the end. And it was a 4-0 defeat. Mansfield won, and they were appalling. They were terrible. Unfortunately,
when you say they, you mean Scunthorpe.
I'm talking about
not Mansfield.
No, I'm talking about the football team themselves. And do you know what? Even after the match, they clapped the players. They supported them. They understood what is probably going on. It was just really nice to meet Scunny fans and just see what they're thinking. And obviously, as well, realizing that we were there for not to take the piss, I guess. We just wanted to film it. Problem is, for me, I've had 2 days of power cuts, including one night when I was working on it, which I've lost loads of editing and stuff. It is coming, Scunny fans. It is coming. I'm hoping to get it finished tonight. I'm not sure whether that will happen, but yeah, it was. They were top guys, and everyone I met absolutely sound, and they're all just frustrated as hell, as you would be, if you were in a similar predicament. And there was talk after the game that there was a potential owner who had been there. From what I've read tonight from a couple of close sources, that person has pulled out, which is a big shame.
That's a real blow for them.
It is. There's been talk about Wren's Kitchens owners. They're the richest guys in Lincolnshire, I believe. Nothing else has materialised from that so far. But we'll see.
Ren Kitchen's eBuyer, isn't it, as well? Same company. They're a big company. They have a lot of money.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I think it's 2.2 billion though that they're projected of worth. I think it's two brothers, but obviously I think they're both into their 80s now, so I think it's probably the son. However, nothing else has materialised from that. So fingers crossed for him. Scunny fans, listen, thank you so much for a great day. I know it wasn't such a great day for you guys, but it was really nice chatting with you, and thank you so much for being so friendly. It was great.
Can I just go on what else happened at the end of that game? So obviously Scunny had their pitch invasion, and they done a pitch invasion. They were throwing tennis balls on. At the end of the game, what were the Mansfield fans doing? Jumping on. They won 4-0
It was funny.
It was funny, right? But it was no. Do you know what? I didn't think it was funny because it's either going one of two ways. It's either the fact that they were taking the piss out the Scunny fans for coming on in their protest. They were celebrating beating Scunny 4-0, who were terrible, and they've celebrated like jumping up to. I don't know. I don't get their pitch invasion.
Yeah, Grant,
I thought it was embarrassing.
Grant, I would actually say that the Mansfield fans were actually applauding when the Scunthorpe invasion or the tennis balls happened.
I think they were. I think their issue came from, and Chris, obviously you were in the Scunny end, but looking at the videos from the Mansfield end, there were some people, and obviously the Scunny protest was for one reason, it was protest against the owners, but there were some people that ran on purely for the sake of it. You saw blokes lowering their kids over barriers. Yeah, but some of the Scunny fans were goading the Mansfield fans, and I think that probably added to it. I don't, if when I spoke to Scunny fans, we obviously spoke to them the other week, and they spoke about protests. We always said, keep it on the point you're trying to make, stick to it. Doesn't need to be sharing of a chairman's address, this, that, and the other. It does, and obviously some people, you get dicks with everything, and I think some people did run on and go at the Mansfield fans, and that's probably added to them doing that. But I thought it was funny. I'm not going to lie, I did think it was quite funny. I was gutted because we were both on, like we switched to it straight away, didn't we, Grant?
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, it's going to, please don't cut off. Oh, please. And it ended. And we're like, no. So we didn't get to see the end of it. But no, Scunny.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing about Scunny then, let's just, so obviously we gave a full episode to Scunny. We are going to do more. You've got the vlog. I don't want to, unfortunately, put too much on them. It's not fair on everyone. We're trying to keep it fair.
We've only got a couple of weeks to cover them, though. We've only got a couple of weeks to cover them before they are, unfortunately, out with our remit.
Well, we got a notification yesterday on our Discord, which was Scunthorpe no longer controlled by Peter Swan as per Company's House. And I think people got quite excited by that. But for anyone who saw that he was no longer the owner, it isn't the case. He's transferred the ownership of the club into Cool Silk Property Investment, which is his company. So it's essentially Scunthorpe were a foot, Peter Swan was a flip-flop. He's taken that flip-flop off. Peter Swan is now a shoe, and he's put a sock on the foot first. So the company is the sock, he's the shoe. He's still there. He's just, I don't know why he's done that. If he's planning to sell, I don't know why.
I'm glad you gave him a shoe. I'm surprised you gave him a shoe, not just a sandal.
It was going to be a
we all know that people wear socks and sandals are wankers.
And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if he did wear socks and a sandal.
Do you know what? Right, and
White
this
socks.
might piss people off, and I'm not saying it to piss people off. He might actually be a really nice guy. He's just not a football owner. He's not a football club owner. Like he might be someone that you wouldn't even know who he was. You bump into him in pub, and you remember William Shatner. Me and Chris met a Canadian bloke, and we were both 15 years have been adamant that we met William Shatner. It wasn't. It was just a Canadian bloke. He could have been a paedophile for all we know, but we know nothing about him. Like this is the thing. He might be a really nice bloke, but unfortunately Peter Swan, and I know that people at the club have watched this because I've spoken to someone very high up. They watched the episode. They've seen the episode. Peter Swan, if you do see this, get it sold ASAP. Just get gone because
because I tell you what, and I don't want to put any, and I'm not going to put any names in here, but there's been certain people that I talk to at the club, and they are just as frustrated as the fans, right? And if that was why, obviously there was no filming of that. I'm not going to even, like I said, I'm not going to mention any names. There are people at the club who I talk to. Everyone has got the same opinion. Now, we can't state any more than that. But when you're hearing that face to face, what does that tell you?
Yeah.
Can we move on to a more exciting?
Fingers
Can we move on
crossed,
to
yeah.
a more exciting takeover and
I'm
sale?
quite excited to see the vlog. So I think the plan is once Chris has done the vlog, me and Grant haven't seen it. We're gonna be like this with the vlog on screen, and we're gonna give a live reaction to it
the
because
camera.
I know how much.
Yeah,
I know how much Chris drunk. I know how much Chris drunk on Saturday, to the point where we haven't seen him or heard from him until nearly Wednesday. There's going to be sections where me and Grant are head in hands, wondering what the hell is going on. And I can't wait. So, guys, moving on. Let's talk about the other games on Saturday. Obviously, Mansfield spanked Scunny. It's no real shock. I don't think anyone would be pissed off that I said that. I don't think anyone was shocked where you were, Chris. But
no.
Exeter, Carlisle have now sort of... They went on that mad run. They got that manager bounce, didn't they? And it's ended.
But it's keeping them up. They're going to stay up.
They're going to stay up. They're going to stay up purely because there's, unfortunately, some very, very poor teams in this league.
Thankfully, none of us are going to Carlisle next season. Especially not me and Liam. Imagine us sitting in the Carlisle end after everything.
I'd have cut it. I'd have cut that part. Literally, there'd have been an edit. I'd have cut it, and that minute I wouldn't have gone. But Carlisle lost 89th minute to Exeter. Exeter, for me, that's it. Exeter are going up with Forest Green. As far as I'm concerned, there's one more automatic up for grabs. We did do a poll on the automatic place that is still up for, in our eyes, still up for grabs. Someone did say they didn't think Exeter were going to go up. Fine. I do appreciate that.
But again, it's something we've already talked about, is that this league, there's still so many teams. I'm still adamant that Mansfield are going up at automatic.
I think the reason I sort of say Exeter are going up with Forest Green is Forest Green and Exeter have both got a game in hand on pretty much everyone other than Mansfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That for me is going to, they win that game. But on the poll, it's 50% of the votes went to Port Vale going up with them.
They're in form.
They are in form.
They're playing some great football.
Followed by Mansfield at 40.6%. Other, for some reason, other got 5.7%, but only one person sort of gave me any sort of response to it, which was weird. And
how many people voted other? Did it say?
It doesn't tell me how many people, but 106 people voted in total. So it's around 7 or 8 people voted.
Yeah.
Voted other. The only person who commented was a guy saying that he was upset that Sutton. Sorry,
it was Scunthorpe. He said it was
Scunthorpe. Sorry, I read it as Sutton. I was like, no, there's no way.
I read it as Sutton as well at first, but then I clicked his link and I seen that he was a Scunny fan with Tottenham Stadium.
Oh, I don't know if he was just Charlie. It would be Stu, right?
I don't know if he was just trolling.
Do you know what it is? It actually is. I didn't even realise till I've just looked now. It's Stu. Stu, fuck you. Do you know how long, right? I thought about writing a nice response. Not wanting to come off as a dick. It's because it says Jono, but then you look at the @ and it's Stu J8. Nah. Right, so we can discount that poll. So it looks like Exeter are going up. Fair play to them. They've hit form at the right time. Port Vale have hit some form. Mansfield, they're not in the form that they were, but they are.
Had one loss in the last 5. Come on, you can't say they're not.
Yeah, but they're not in the form they were, are they? They went through that period, and I think you compare. I think it was the 18 games prior to that period, and then what is it? The 10 games since that first loss that they had, or the draw that they had, whatever it was, and it paid to They're getting there. They're getting back in there, but that's probably cost them that little run that they had. Stevenage, first win under Steve Evans, and
Evans
weirdly,
Finally.
I mean, Evans 4 games in. I wouldn't say it's the Evans effect. I'd say it's a blip, if anything. I'd say that that's a blip. Weirdly, Steve Evans came out after the game and said that despite the win, they've achieved nothing. Well, you've achieved 3 points, Steve. 3 points you didn't have before the game.
But he's right though, isn't he? I mean, obviously he needs to, obviously it's the first win in however long. He needs to get them all grounded again. So he's going to go, listen, you've won, but you've done fuck all. So that is going to be his mentality. That, he has to have all of those players on side and also thinking straight and going, right, okay, I'm going to train on Monday. We're going to look after the next game. They're in serious issues right now. So I don't blame him for that. I think it's clever.
See,
the exciting thing is with the bottom 3 with that, I see where he's coming from because they got the win, are still sitting in the relegation zone.
Exactly.
But they're still on equal points with Oldham and Barrow.
And that's my point. They've yes, they're still in the relegation places, but they've now put themselves level on points with the 2 teams above, with a game in hand on Oldham. Like that's a big step. That is for me. If I was him, I'd be saying to them, right, guys, fucking brilliant. We'll chalk it off. We start again Monday, but you remember what you did in that game. I think saying you've achieved nothing is. Chris, they're here for you.
Oh, they found that Scunthorpe video.
Peter Swan's followed you home. This is where we find out that the bloke that was lowering the kid over the barrier was Stu lifting Chris over.
Chris isn't that tall.
You'd got around.
I tell you what, at least I was taller than you, Grant. That's all I'll say.
You're not.
Anyway,
guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I think for me, I don't agree. I think that's a massive step for them. That's got to be a big confidence boost. You're
every
on
point,
points.
every point for Stevenage is massive. Same Oldham and Barrow. Every single point that they get.
Boys, who do you think out of the 3 are going down?
I can tell you what everyone else thinks because we did it on a poll.
I think, and I'm going to stick with this, I think it's going to be Barrow.
Everyone else seems to think Barrow. I don't want.
Does everyone else think it's going to be Barrow, or does everyone want it to be Barrow?
Yeah.
No, I want it to be Stevenage. I'm not going to lie. If they didn't have Steve Evans in charge, then fine. But for me, Steve Evans or Phil Brown, it doesn't really matter. Personally, I'm risking pissing a lot of people off here that do watch us, but I really fear for Oldham. I really, really do fear for Oldham. I think that they're going to struggle.
I'm just looking at Oldham's fixtures for the rest of the season to see who they've actually got.
Yeah, I tell you why I think it's Barrow. I think that team should be doing better. They haven't done better. And I just think that they have for the last 2 or 3 months been slowly sneaking into that little fight. And I just think, for me, I think it's going to be Barrow. I think Oldham, we've got to look at, over the last 2 months, they've pulled out some victories out of nowhere, and they have. And a lot of that's been to do with their fighting spirit and the performance. Stevenage, again, I do think I can't see Steve Evans taking a team down. I just don't see it. I just think it's going to be Barrow. I really do.
I think looking at the run-ins, for me, I think Oldham have got the hardest running. Oldham's running is horrific.
Barrow don't have a much easier one either.
They don't, but they've also got a game in hand of Barrow. And I think all it takes is they've got one extra chance to just sneak that win.
Oldham aren't playing on Friday. That is the big one.
Yeah. But Barrow have got a much better goal difference as well than Oldham.
The thing that goes for Stevenage for me is they've got to play Rochdale and they've got to play Scunny. In fact, they've got the easiest run of them all. They've got Rochdale, they've got Scunny, and they've got Carlisle.
I hate to say it, but Scunny is going to be a walkover.
I mean, you've got to think you always see it, don't you? The team that's rock bottom, they usually there's always just one little surprise from them before end of season. And I'd love to, I'd love to just, I think for the fans' sake, just give them something to cheer
just a wee Hail Mary, isn't it?
Yeah.
A wee Hail Mary goodbye.
But I mean, Oldham do play on Friday.
Do they? I thought they didn't play on Friday.
Yeah, no, Oldham have got Northampton on Friday. They've then got Forest Green. They've then got Salford. Then they've got Tranmere. And then they finish with Crawley. And I think it's so hard to call, but I don't want Oldham to go down. Please don't think that I want Oldham to go down, but I just think that.
No, just being honest. You're just being honest. You're not saying that because of, people. You're just being honest. And I mean, like for me, like I said, even still, I don't know. I just think Barrow have just been caught into this, and it's always that team that get caught in right at the end. You go, and you think they're going to go down, and that's why I'm going Barrow.
It's going to be
Barrow to go down. All Mansfield
Really,
automatic.
You could really toss a coin over who's got the worst run though out of Oldham and Barrow, because Barrow's one isn't much better. They've got Forest Green, Salford, Sutton, Exeter, Swindon, and Northampton.
Oh my god!
But I think you look at that. They've got Sutton and Swindon. Yes, Sutton and Swindon are very good sides, but they're not as good as the teams that Oldham are playing. And there's an extra game for Barrow. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very, very hard for all three. It could be that all three of them lose every game between now and the end of the season, and nothing changed. It literally has been one of those seasons. But
do you see Barrow sneaking one of those wins that Oldham have had recently, where they've, the games you've gone, oh, I didn't expect you to win that. That's the thing. And for me, I don't see Barrow doing that.
Just they've got an absolute shit show of a manager.
Yeah. Grant, I know you saw the tweet that was.
Oh my days, that was good.
We had I can't. Grant, do you remember what it was?
So it was a lad that said, someone put a picture up of their last manager. No, it wasn't.
No, I think it might.
I can't remember what it was. And then it says, was it Gab says, would you not want him, or who do you not want at Barrow? And he's like, we don't even want Phil Brown at Barrow.
Yeah, it was like, who would you not mind leaving in the summer or something like that? Who would you like to see leave your club in the summer? And it was just Phil fucking Brown. That's all it said. It was like, oh my days. Like, so even they don't like him. But you know what? We'll see. This weekend's massive, isn't it? All teams have got 2 games. It's a huge weekend, bank holiday weekend. It's supposed to be lovely weather, by the way, which I'm looking forward to. We've got Tranmere at home on Friday. Grant, who have you got?
Do you know what? I've not even checked. That's terrible of me.
We'll come to it. We'll come to it.
Yeah, we'll come to it. I'm going to check.
I've jumped ahead.
Thank you. Jumped ahead a little bit.
So, speaking of Hartlepool, we might as well mention it because it's the next game on the list. A draw against Forest Green. I just want to say, Grant, Forest Green's goal.
Oh my Christ, what goal.
Chris, have you seen it?
I haven't, Been too hungover. I've been too hungover, boys.
Do you know what? Show both goals. One for...
If you're showing it.
Have you not got that?
I ain't got them up.
I was going to say, the Forest Green goal.
We want to show highlights. The issue we've got is every time we do it, the EFL, even though they back down, they keep putting in claims and it takes us offline for even a day.
Not worth it.
It's not worth it.
The Forest Green goal was one of the cleanest strikes. It was phenomenal. And then they had us under the cosh for about 70 minutes. I know a lot of folk have not said great things. They spend a lot of time on the floor. I didn't see any of that from Forest Green at all. They were a very, very well drilled team. Looked very comfortable on the ball. And unusually, they had the lion's share of the possession, where you normally find in a Hartlepool game, we have the lion's share of the possession. And they had us in the back foot for a lot of the game. There wasn't a lot of meaningful shots. And then the equaliser came from a phenomenal pass from Crawford.
Who signed a new contract as well.
Signed 2-year deal, just signed for Hartlepool, so he is one of the very first ones to re-sign, which is great. Hopefully more to come. What a pass, straight out. Found it was the longest 1-2 I've ever seen in my life. Him and Omar Bogle, and Bogle just kind of nonchalantly played it through their players' legs into the net. Great, really good ball.
Two really good goals, but two different goals as well. It was, but aside from those two goals, it's
Nothing else
hard
happened.
it's hard to name another thing from the match. Moving down, Northampton 0, Bradford City 0. We then have Port Vale beating Oldham 3-2. I've moved straight on because that is literally, I think...
I've just watched Forest Green's goal. Great.
Oh, phenomenal.
Chris, I've skipped straight past the Bradford game.
Yeah.
It was just... I mean, we've nothing to play for. We've gone to Northampton. We said last week, and a Northampton fan actually came back to us and said, yes, you mentioned that Northampton is dull and boring and you never see any entertaining football there. We drew 0-0. And he said, how do you think we feel? We have it every week. So, they're a big team. They were a big team. That's it.
The worst thing is, I think we're going to end up stuck with Northampton next year. That could end up who I could go to, would it not?
It could end up being... No. They wouldn't be that far down the table.
Please, no, I don't want to watch a boring game.
But we have actually got lined up between now and the end of the season. We've got the lad who runs the Sutton podcast and also the lad who runs the Northampton Town. I think it's the Up the Cobblers podcast. Been speaking to him the last few days. He's going to come on. So we're going to have a few guys on from different clubs. We want to cover some teams off and we want to get some guests back.
And it's also good that, we've, it's clubs that we might not have talked about tons of. It'd be interesting just to hear different views.
I'm really looking forward to a Sutton fan. Really looking forward to a Sutton fan after the season they've had.
It's a fairy tale season for them, despite where they're finishing.
Both us and Sutton have been on very, very similar paths over the last kind of 2 seasons. They've had a little bit more. They've had more success than us, and we've always just kind of seemed to be the bridesmaid to Sutton over the last 2 years. So really looking forward to speaking to them.
It's gonna be good. Next, moving on to it, Port Vale and Oldham. Now, Oldham, they have got to feel hard done by this game. For me, Port Vale, we said are hitting form at the right time. They're in phenomenal form. They went 1-0 up. Oldham equalised. They went 2-1 up. Oldham equalised, and then they went 3-2 up and just shut up shop. And at that stage, it was game over, wasn't it?
I'm going to disagree with you with something in this game. That was a red card.
It was a red card. I completely agree with you as well.
That was a straight red, stonewall red card.
So there's a couple of angles of it. So for anyone who's listening, there was a tackle. There was a tackle, and it was basically, was it a red card or not? The video that got shared to us, it could be seen as a red card. I said I personally didn't think it was. There's another angle, and I'll tweet it out. That high foot is nowhere near the player. It's the angle. On the other angle, you can see how far he is. And when he gets to the player, his foot is almost grounded.
I'm still going red.
It is what it is. But this is the thing. We've got to look at it. And this was my argument with some Oldham fans, because Jesus Christ, they jumped down my throat on Saturday when I said I didn't think it was a red card.
They're an angry bunch, aren't they?
Can we just mention as well, by the way, that anyone who sees the Twitter account, it's all this guy, Chew. Right? Yeah. So it's not us. The one good thing about it, even though we do the podcast, we don't all agree on the same things, but it is
we don't.
The podcast. It does the Twitter account.
And also, what you need to do with the Twitter account is watch when you're tweeting your own stuff out that you don't use ours.
Yeah.
Nah, it's right. Why have I replied to some more Viagra adverts?
Yeah, probably.
But no, so I got, obviously, Oldham fans were not happy that I didn't think it was a goal. But my thing was, do you know what? We know the referee's not great this season. The issue that, and I said this to one Oldham fan in particular, I'm not going to name him because he knows who he is. I really like the guy, Chris.
You know what?
But every time... Not this Chris. Chris, who was on earlier in the
I
episode.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, but I didn't want people to think that I would talk about you. But I just said to him on Saturday, I said, Chris, every time you lose, always the referee's fault. I said, at some stage, you're down where you are because, unfortunately, you know you've not been good enough. For me, a lot of things happen in this league when it comes to referees. When we played them, Chris, when we went to there, we lost 2-0. When we were 1-0 down, we equalised. It was a perfectly good goal. I believe Songo scored.
It was Songo. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And it was,
but he was
a good goal.
He was blown up for, I think, a foul originally.
On the keeper,
foul,
it wasn't.
And he was nowhere near. But he actually, from what the referee pointed at, it was as if he got booked or as if he got pulled upon a foul on Paudie O'Connor.
Yeah,
at that stage.
It was ridiculous.
I'll tell
you what the one thing amazing about is if that Harrogate Town commentator it'd have been telling us the goal.
I tell you what, though, if they do go down, they're in for a whole different world of bad refereeing next season.
I hate to say
it's awful.
If they survive, we've got to say it.
It's hard to. They need someone to come in, and someone again. We were talking on Twitter. Someone was arguing, saying because someone actually tweeted saying there's no one willing to buy the club. And all.
I mean, there was, but it seems like the guy who was willing to come in was full of shit and is just fucked off the face of the earth. We were going to have him on here. We were going to have questions, but he's just fucked off. I think he was just a made-up guy. He came up and he started spouting things on Twitter.
I mean, I spoke to him, and I spoke to him, and one thing I'll say is that he told me a lot. He told me a lot of things off the record. Shit. But some of the stuff he's told me has come true. So it sort of makes you think, I do think that there were certain parts of what he said to me that I went, no, I know for a fact that that's not true. But then there's other things that he said that have kind of happened. And I think the bits that I'm unsure about whether they were true or not, I have no idea. What I will say is someone was saying, of course, there are people willing to buy us. And I think there's a difference between I'm willing to buy Oldham Athletic.
Yes.
You are. The issue is, what does the owner who has currently got it want? Is his valuation and his asking price realistic? That's the difference.
And this is the thing, isn't it? And it was when I was talking to the Scunthorpe fans, and they were saying, well, we're having 4 or 5 different potential investors in interested in the club, but that doesn't mean anything. And this is something that fans need to realise, is that just because someone says, oh, I've got interest in buying your club, does not mean that A, they are right for your club, B, that they've got the money, but also C, that they're actually going to follow through with it. So you've got to be realistic, guys.
I think this is a perfect time of talking about investment in clubs, about things being realistic, about are things right for the club, to talk about this very much surprise that we all had over the last week and the takeover of Crawley.
Hey, I tell you what was more surprising is the fact that they didn't start going on again like they did when they said they were going to buy Bradford. It was all.
I think they learned the lesson.
Yeah, maybe so. What do we think?
Where's it come from? Why Crawley?
Well, so when they were looking to buy Bradford,
can we just say, but in case anyone doesn't know, Wagaming United have taken over Crawley. They are a cryptocurrency NFT trading consortium.
Essentially, they want to do things differently, and that's how it is. They don't want to run a football club the same way that it's been run, because and people are moaning about that. People are going, "Oh my God, you can't change it. You can't be doing it through crypto." You look at Oldham, you look at Scunthorpe, you look at Derby County, who not long ago were a Premier League. They were in the Premier League when Premier League had big money. It's not as big as it is now, but it had big money.
Yeah,
clubs are being mismanaged with the pound. As far as I'm concerned, crypto's coming into football. I
definitely. I can't disagree with you. And I think that, obviously this is the big thing. And obviously as time goes by, things change. Crypto's become something in the last 5 to 10 years, a different kind of currency. And it's obviously working because there's millionaires being made from this So I mean, I won't pretend that I know anything about it because I don't. But why not? Why not try it? You know.
I think I'm more reserved on it.
Well, you didn't know what essentially what
I'm not-
crypto was, did you?
Well,
So
I know what crypto is.
John Yems.
And
you didn't
I'm
know how
not-
it worked. Yeah,
I
you
know
thought John
essentially
Yems over there.
how it worked, but yeah, I'm more reserved. It's a very, very risky market to get involved in. And a lot of people, a lot of Crawley fans, I think, might not just be excited. I think there'll be a lot of concern here as well. Going,
Of course.
this sounds like these guys are gambling with the club's money, and that's how a lot of people will see it.
The
And we'll
club's
see
money
that these
or
guys,
their money.
That's the
Both.
difference. So what essentially the plan is, and I've looked into it, and I looked into it when they were looking to take over Bradford, because obviously I had a personal reason to look into it. This is going to come into football, like Chris says. You've got to try something new, and it is new. Crypto's coming into football. As far as the crypto world is concerned, as far as knowing the trends of crypto, and you can only know it so much because it is such a hostile market. It's up, it's down. But there are certain people who are able to read and judge a little bit. Yes, it's not 100%, but they're able to sort of get a better read on it. Gary Vaynerchuk is probably the best person in the world, the best positioned person in the world to be involved with if you're doing something crypto. And he is involved with Wagner United. If this is going to work in football, it's going to work at Crawley. This is the thing. If it's going to work, it's these guys that are going to. If these guys can't make it work, I would say to anyone else later down the line, it's a dead end. What they're doing, they are going to obviously gamble the club's money, but they're not going to gamble the club's money that they need. So they'll have their budgets. And let's say, for example, and this isn't me saying that this is what they've got. Let's say they put 10 million into the club. They get everything sorted for the season, and their running costs and absolutely everything, wage budget, the lot comes to 7 million. They've got 3 million left. They'll take 1 million of that and they'll invest it into a crypto. They'll have their guys then watching that crypto. That crypto that they bought £1 million of may double in value. When it doubles in value, they'll sell it. They'll put that million back into the club and they'll use the million profit to do it again. And they'll keep building on that. They're not going to, people seem to think that they're going to buy players with Bitcoin. They can't do that. They have to sell the crypto to get it. And at the minute, I mean, crypto, yes, it's down now to what it was 6 months ago, but it's about 10 times more than what it was 5 years ago. So
it's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see what's going on. I'm still very, very reserved and on the fence about it, and to see how it works in the professional football environment. I do think it's a gamble. And a lot of people from what I've got from social media think that they are using this as an experiment. The other concern I've got is he went to Bradford. Bradford kind of went, no. Now he's just jumped on Crawley. What is his connection to Crawley? Why Crawley? Is this just the next club that he's seen going, this person's willing to sell the club to me? What personal interest does he have in Crawley? Why Crawley?
Well, when they were looking to buy Bradford, there were two clubs involved. We never knew who the second club was. That was simple. There were always two clubs. We just didn't know who the other club was, so it could have been Crawley.
I suppose the same goes for when you look at Ryan Reynolds. Why Wrexham? We know quite openly that the first club that he looked at was Hartlepool, and he was knocked back by Raj Singh from buying Hartlepool, and then he went to buy Wrexham.
Didn't Raj Singh think it was a joke?
Yeah, Raj Singh thought it was a joke because it was an unnamed bid that came in from an unnamed consortium, and he went, "I'm not entertaining it because they won't say who they are personally. And I don't want to risk what's in this club going to basically an unknown sale to a consortium who won't reveal who they are." Then the same consortium went to Wrexham, and it turns out to be Ryan Reynolds. And do you know what? I don't blame Raj Singh for doing what he done.
Well,
at
to be
all.
No,
fair,
I didn't know about the privacy thing. I think
Yeah.
that puts a
to be
different
fair,
light on it.
it didn't exactly go very well at Darlington for Raj Singh, did it? So
No, it definitely didn't. But Darlington had a lot of history before.
another Reynolds as well.
Yeah,
George Reynolds.
George Reynolds. Obviously, he built the Reynolds Arena. He promised them Premier League football. This is starting to sound like Crawley here. And he would buy them a Premier League quality player. He bought them Faustino Asprilla. Faustino Asprilla went AWOL basically straight away, didn't even arrive.
Do you know what? He didn't even do that, Grant. What he did was he went on the pitch. I mean, he was at half time,
Right.
walked around the pitch,
Fucked
and
off.
apparently got in a taxi. Well, no one saw him again.
It was great. 20,000 seater stadium. They were only allowed to put 10 in it because the council restricted it straight away.
Queen of the South playing at Hamden, basically.
Oh,
Faustino's free
it was
walking
great.
around.
And then they just went. Raj Singh came in, but the club was fucked by then. George Reynolds
He was plugging
jail
holes, wasn't he?
Yeah, George Reynolds went to jail for money laundering.
Yeah, he did.
And this is so
He's dead now. He's dead now.
Well, let's not get into that. Jesus Christ. What I will say there is you brought Ryan Reynolds up for Crawley fans, and this is where a lot of people are going, oh, these guys are just into crypto. They don't know football. Ryan Reynolds couldn't point to Wrexham on a map before this season.
Yeah.
He didn't know anything about football, and he has openly admitted that. I think if these guys show willing, and they seem to be because they're responding to fans, they're saying they're offering invitations to fans to meet face-to-face, to talk. I think if they're willing to do that, they're willing to learn the game, they're willing to learn the club's values. So they've got to keep those core values. We said, Chris, when we went on Gab's EFL debate when Bradford were going to be the club, we said they have to keep them values. They have to keep Ryan Sparks. Ryan Sparks knows what the club is. They've got to keep. They can't just strip it out.
No.
And I think if they do that, who gives us? Do you know what? This time next season, let's say Crawley are top of the league. Not one single fan of Crawley will give a shit what Bitcoin is doing.
No.
They won't care.
As long as they
where that
don't
money
get rid of Johnny Ems.
Oh,
let's get on to it.
Speaking of Johnny M, Sir
this
John
is
Yem.
This is the John Yem says that we didn't have one last week, but this week
Can we change this to Sir John Yem?
Sir John Yems, because
We've already got Sir Sheridan.
We've got Sir Sheridan. Yeah, we're knighting a lot of people. The issue
Lord
we have,
John Yems.
Lord, we've always the John Yems says we've been trying to find managers that sort of say and do ridiculous things in comparison to John Yems. It just so happens that this week the man himself did it for us. So Grant, tell us, what did he say?
So it was Chris that found this, and I went, you can't not put this in. So this was again on the old takeover of Crawley. And what has he said? He goes, someone's asked me what crypto is. He said, I couldn't tell you. I thought, what did he think it was? He said, I thought it was.
I thought it was Superman's weakness.
Superman's weakness, yeah.
Kryptonite. And he just, the thing is, anyone who's not seen it, go and Google it, because he doesn't just say it. He's so serious when he says it. He's so deadpan. Just looking at, he's like, yeah, I thought crypto was kryptonite when they first told me it was Superman's weakness. And he's just, that's it. It's fucking brilliant.
He's so mad.
Crawley, I'd love to see a Crawley fan.
That would be great.
Crawley fan.
That would be great to see what they, and it's something that we mentioned as well. It's like, until recently we didn't know what was going on at Scunthorpe. And obviously now we do big time. It'd be nice to hear what Crawley fans feel about this move. And we would love to have a Crawley fan on. I'd love to.
It'd be good. Before we move on to next week's games, I want to touch on it. Obviously, we're at the point of the season now. I just said I want to touch on.
You always want to touch on, mate.
I always want to touch on. Yeah, that's what Chris is not telling you. He ain't been hungover. He's been in jail because he's been getting a touch on somewhere else. That's what's going on. We're at the point in the season where clubs are coming out with season ticket prices, and you've seen Oldham. I think Grant, you said was it 100?
I think it's £180. I've seen a couple of Oldham fans saying they weren't happy with
for the first 500, I believe.
I think £180 is reasonable for a season ticket.
even if they're in the National League, it's still a reasonable amount. Bradford, we frozen ours at 198 until the middle of June, Chris. Swindon, I got into an interesting conversation with Swindon, and I want to know your opinions on this. Now, Swindon last season, I may be out £10, £20, but for this season that we're in, it was £370 for an adult season ticket at Swindon. And obviously, let's be fair, they had a transfer embargo and a player embargo. They could only sign players for, I think, £1,700 a week at a maximum. They had a lesser budget than what we had. So they had a £2 million budget, £370. This season going into the next, they've just announced it's going to be £400 for an adult season ticket, a new adult season ticket. And their fans, because they've had a new owner come in, they're thinking, obviously next season's going to be a really good season. And they're saying, we don't mind paying extra because it's going to be a really good season. But for me, I said this to them and they kind of agreed. Do you not think that they've just been conditioned to paying £370 for such shit football that they think when there's a glimmer of hope, they'll pay more? For me, £370, even if we were top of the league, I would be questioning why my League Two club is charging £400 for next season when I can go to Man City for £415 for the season.
Yeah, but then again, Man City have to sell their tickets on voucher. But it's the point I'm making is, if I'm a fan and I want to watch the best football, I'm paying 50 as a Swindon fan. I'm paying £15 less a year than people who are watching Kevin De Bruyne, who are watching Raheem Sterling, Phil Foden, Grant, your favourite, are watching the best players in the world competing at the top of these are the currently looks like they're going to possibly win the Premier League. I can for £15 more go and watch them. I think they're just fans in this league. People look at our prices and they look at Oldham and they say, oh, you've got cheap season tickets. I don't think we've got cheap season tickets. I think we've got very fucking reasonable prices. I think £200.
What was the cost? What was the cost for Swindon?
400.
So what?
Makes you wonder where
£17 a game.
For which, I mean, so put it this way: Bayern Munich works out £6 a game their season tickets.
Yeah, but okay, all right. But again, you're talking about completely different aspects of the game here, because so Man City won. First of all, can't sell a ground out, and haven't been able to sell that ground out, and that's why the tickets come out on voucher. Two, they get a lot of money from sponsorship, endorsements, and also their owners worth ridiculous amounts of money. So that is why those season tickets are that price.
Yeah.
Three, Bayern Munich, again, majority of the clubs in Germany are either owned by supporters or certainly have some ownership of supporters, which is why it works. I get what you're trying to say, but I think I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I don't. Go on. Sorry, go on.
I'll explain why, because this is my point. Their transfer embargo this season meant £1,700 minimum a week. Their wage budget for the season was £2 million. They made £4 million in season ticket sales. Why do they need to put it up this season? Why? If they got 3.7 million because they get an average of about 10. I was speaking to a Swindon fan. He said they get between 9,500 and 10,000. 3.7 million in ticket sales, and that's only on if they all bought season tickets. These are people that are also paying on the day where it's more expensive. Okay. So it'll be more. You're talking 3.7 million. You've got a £2 million budget. That club has made, whether it's obviously it's not the owner that's currently in, but they've been competing this season with a £2 million budget. Why do they need to put the prices up? That price, if getting 3.7 million from season ticket sales, for me, should be more than enough. It shouldn't need an increase next season. Well, it really shouldn't.
Well, as long as they don't get can't pay, take it away again. Coming on.
Can you imagine just taking that new stand that they're going to build away on back of a truck?
Yeah, I mean, you made the point as well about City. I mean, let's be fair here. If season tickets were £400 at City, how many would we get? How many fans would we get?
Yeah, we will. When we
use do they get any deals for if you're a current season ticket holder, or is that for new season ticket holders? Because I know the way that Hartlepool work it, you get £50 off. So the Hartlepool one is £325 for the season ticket. if you're a current season ticket holder, you get £50 off the price of your next season's ticket holder. And they usually do some sort of early bird price.
Yeah.
If you come in and get it early.
Get that. They are getting, because one of the Swindon fans said that as an existing season ticket holder, the prices are cheaper, or they get money off, but there's still the increase. So regardless of if they've had a season ticket for more than just this season, the increase is the same. If that makes sense. Let's say they got 50 quid off of last season's season ticket and they get 50 quid off of next season's, it's still gone up by 30 quid.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I do. I understand what you're saying. And it is ridiculous. And
I just think
the price of football is absolutely mental. I'm considering if you've got yourself and you're going to take a kid with you, depending on the age of them, that's another one.
Yeah.
A lot of clubs they put their concessions to 16, don't they? Then they'll have a 16 to 18 bracket, and then they'll go 18 plus as your full adult season ticket. But it's an expensive day, especially if you've got the travel, then you've got the food at the ground, getting to the ground.
I think that's the other stage there as well, Grant. It's kind of a monopoly because once you're in those doors, they charge what they want, and there's no alternative. Yeah. Obviously, you've got kids. Like I take my 2 kids to the game. My little boy loves the food at Bradford. I'm not a fan of it, but he loves the burgers at Bradford, and I think they're £4.50, and they're not big. And that's not me criticising, because I can kind of look at that and go, do you know what? That's how the club's going to make money, because that was my point. They can make that money elsewhere. They charge a lesser season ticket, but you're not telling me that if I go to Swindon next season, they're still not going to be charging £4 or £5 for a burger.
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting. What Grant just said about the prices and stuff. I mean, a little unknown fact about me is I'm a Bradford fan, but I'm from Leeds. My old man is a Leeds United fan, but I wanted to go to football. So
it's not his dad, by the way. He's got an old man that just lives behind him.
So. He's a Leeds United fan, and he said, I said I wanted to go to football. Now, to take me to Leeds United, it would have cost him something like 40, 50 quid at the time. This is about 94, 95. So he took me to Bradford because it was 13 quid in, and it was £1 a kid. And he took me in.
Quid a kid.
Yeah, it was quid a kid. And it just so happened that Chris Waddle was playing that day for Bradford, and I can still remember the goal. But this is where you're right. Clubs need to entice new fans in by offering, better range of season tickets. Make it more affordable for the family. If you've got young'uns who want to go to the football, like I said, my family, majority of them are Leeds United fans, but I'm not because of the fact that my dad took me to watch Bradford because it was cheaper, and that's what clubs need to understand.
I think we said this in a previous podcast. If they're doing this with the costs, they need to give more entertainment value, a better package for the fans, not just your 90 minutes of football. Give them something else for the whole day, the full experience of being in the ground. Do something, make it a great day out for everyone.
Well, you'll make more money then as well. If you give people to get to the ground an hour earlier or 2 hours earlier, they're going to spend money when they're there. I mean, you look at it. So, we've got food that's ridiculous. Shirts in League Two. Yes, I mean, a shirt is a shirt. It doesn't matter what team you support, but they're still 45, 50 quid. And that it's a lot of money. If you've got a family of 4 going to watch a team and you want to buy them all a shirt, they're coming out with shirts every single season. I remember
I think a shirt should last 2 seasons.
Yeah,
they used to though, didn't they? Do you remember when it didn't always used to be an annual thing?
2 years. 2 years. Everyone used to do that.
This is a sponsorship thing though, because you get more money out of a sponsorship deal if you're doing it for a 1-year deal. Then you get a new sponsor the season after. It's better than getting a 2-year deal where you'll probably get a bit less money for doing it. It's purely sponsorship. I think Brentford. Sorry, go to the Premier League, but Brentford are doing it. They're carrying their shirt forward to next season.
Do you know what Brentford are as well? For anyone who back on the Crawley thing, Brentford also have a crypto element to how they run. So have a look into how they operate, and that might give you a bit more of an indication. But the price. If I wanted to go to, let's say I was a Swindon Town fan, someone sent me all the prices, but 400 for an adult, I think it was. Let's say half that for a child. If me, my missus, my 2 kids were Swindon fans, that's 1,200 quid off the bat for tickets, for season tickets.
Yeah.
Then we want a shirt. Then I want to get them a shirt each. That's another 200 quid between us.
Yeah, you're right. I can't agree with that. I can't disagree with that point.
And then every game you go to, your kid wants a burger. That's a tenner. They need a bottle of water. They need something to drink. That's 250. That's 3 quid. You're spending 25, 30 quid a game on top. 23 games,
and especially with the way that the world is working. Well, certainly over here.
Cost of living's just nuts, isn't
it? Do you know
that's what Bradford did, didn't they? Bradford came out and said because of the cost of living and the increases in electricity, because that's the other point. People are having to find £500-600 more a year for electricity. We're at the point now where people are getting priced out of the game. People are having to choose whether to eat or whether to heat the homes at the minute. Now, if you had £370 that you were going to blast on a season ticket and you were umming and ahhing about whether you were going to renew anyway, and the club come out and go, oh, guys, we're going to push on next season, so we're going to charge you 30 quid more. I'm going to go, well, solves it. 400 quid straight into my kitty. I can put my eating on for another hour. We froze our prices based on cost of living, and I think football owners, clubs need to do more for fans because we supported those clubs through COVID.
Here.
We supported them. We paid our season ticket prices at Bradford. We obviously we didn't have to, but people donated their season ticket money to help the club and to give them a budget. And I know other clubs did the same. And I'm not knocking Bradford because we've got some good prices. And I think commercially our club is run probably one of the best clubs in the league in terms of commercial running. But this league,
people didn't see enough games through behind closed doors, and 100%.
People need to do more in this league, not just in this league. At the very top, £900 for a season ticket. I think Arsenal is the cheapest. What?
And the thing is, they don't need that money, and that's the annoying thing, because the amount of money that they make in the Premiership, it means fuck all. It means fuck all. So why you price anyway? Yeah.
We're pricing people out of the game, and then people moan. Clubs moan about fans staying away. Clubs moan about people watching on illegal streams. Yeah. Unfortunately, people can't afford to follow the club that they love, and people want to follow the club. People's mental health, and we're going down a bit of a thing here, but it's true. People's mental health is absolutely on its arse at the minute, and for some people, going to watch their club week in, week out is the break that they get away from the shit. And you're potentially stopping people from doing that. It's for some people, it literally is the only enjoyment they get, and you're potentially either pricing them out of it or you're forcing them into debt to go and watch a team that, let's say, do an Oldham or a Scunny next season. Well, anyway, rant over. Fuck it. On a positive note,
good rant.
Thanks. Can you tell that's been building up for ages?
Just a bit.
Let's look forward to the bank holiday weekend, guys. We haven't got an episode on Sunday because we're going to record. Did we say Monday?
Said Monday. We've said Monday. Will Chris get too pissed up to not record on Monday?
I've got work on Tuesday, so I'll be reasonably sober.
I've got a picture of Chris printed off, and when I get to City on Friday, I'm going around all the kiosks and saying, "Do not serve this man."
I guess they won't be able to see him.
Just two little hands fucking with a £5 note in his like it. His card. In fairness, guys, for anyone who doesn't know, they're not actually. Chris isn't actually that short. It's just become something that Grant said.
I get it.
It triggered Chris so much that now it's never going to disappear.
All of the time.
Look, Chris over there.
He's dead as well.
He is dead. Guys,
thanks.
Jeez, what a depressing episode this has been. Let's look forward to Friday. I'm going to blast through these fixtures quickly, and I want you to each pick out a game that you think is the game on Friday.
Okay, hurry up then.
Exeter, Colchester. Barrow, Forest Green. Bradford City, Tranmere Rovers. Bristol Rovers, Salford City.
Yes.
Harrogate and Swindon. Hartlepool are playing Port Vale. Leyton Orient, Scunthorpe. Mansfield and Sutton. Newport County and Crawley. Oldham, Northampton. Stevenage, Rochdale, and Walsall, Carlisle.
Two games.
Yeah, and I'm gonna guess what the two are. Bristol Rovers, Salford.
You couldn't exactly miss it because we were going.
That one.
Ooh.
Stevenage, Walsall, Stevenage, Rochdale, the other one.
It doesn't excite me.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it is in terms of importance.
Yeah, important game. But
I think we were looking more towards the top of the table, to be honest. Bristol Rovers.
Yeah.
What was the other one, Grant? Port Vale?
No, Port Vale.
Hartlepool playing Port Vale. Mansfield, Sutton.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a decent game.
I think that's a formality for Mansfield again. I think and that's not a knock on Sutton. I just think Sutton have played a lot of games this season, and they've got a bit leggy, haven't they? So we'll forgive.
What
Sutton.
A game though they had! I don't know if we mentioned this the other week. What a game against Rotherham! Jesus Christ,
unreal game. So that's the game. So what are we going with? What's the game? It's got to be one. It can't be two. Bristol Rovers, Salford, or
Bristol Rovers, Salford.
Bristol Rovers, Salford.
Yeah. Monday, I'm going to do the same again. Carlisle, Mansfield, Colchester, Bradford City, Crawley, Walsall, Forest Green, Oldham, Northampton, Harrogate, Port Vale, Bristol Rovers, Rochdale, Hartlepool, Salford, Barrow, Scunny, Stevenage, Sutton, Newport.
Ooh, nah.
Swindon, Leyton Orient, and Tranmere, Exeter. Now,
Bristol Rovers, both games this weekend.
Yeah, but Tranmere,
Exeter
is another one.
It's a tasty one, by the way.
I think it depends on what happens on Friday.
If Tranmere beat Bradford Friday, that game is huge.
Yeah.
Use it at home as well. Use it shit at home.
We're at home.
We are shit at home, yeah.
The thing is, we're due a win at home under Mark Hughes, though.
You've been due a win at home since Mark Hughes came in.
Yeah, we know. So it's going to happen at some stage.
Tranmere, Mark Hughes is allergic to Valley Parade.
Mate, I think any manager is allergic to Valley Parade. This is a problem.
Eric. I've got to get in there. At least once an episode, I've got to get that in.
Well, fingers crossed you're going to see him next season. But for anyone who we didn't actually mention it, Chris, you would have been this season going to see Newport County in your game, which I think would have been a banging day out.
Hey, you know what? Listen, I've got friends down there. I'd have had a great time.
Chris, don't lie.
I've got friends down there.
Chris, your friends are in this little podcast here, and
we aren't friends,
and we get paid for it,
right?
Oh. We're on the clock. We get paid for this. That's why we don't mind these shit things.
Do we? What? I didn't know about this. When do I get paid?
No, Chris, your family pay us to just keep you entertained on an evening. So, guys, yeah, we're going to record Monday straight after those games, so it'll be interesting. We can come straight back. But, yeah, I mean, this is Bristol Rovers' probably biggest weekend of the season, and it's huge for them.
Yeah.
But, guys, other than that, anything else you want to add?
I was going to add something, but it's going to go into another conversation. Can I leave it for another day or to add it now?
Yeah, go on, it's fine. Go on. We've made people wait. They can
I know we don't like talking about our own clubs, but I want to talk Hartlepool for a second.
Yeah, sorry, I meant to mention it.
Yeah, I want to talk Hartlepool this week. So Hartlepool have just received a six-figure compensation for what was called a botched 2019 transfer.
Ooh, so it's not a botched transfer.
It's not a botched transfer at all. It's absolute
fraud in the highest order.
Baggery by Fulham. So Fulham had a young lad on trial called Luca Murphy from Hartlepool, and then they decided, nah, he's not really what we want at all. Sent him back to Hartlepool. They'd obviously been whispering in his ear and filling him with lots of big things, and like big ideas, not filling him with big things. That's completely different.
Fulham, I know. I offered my address. I offered my address to Peter Swan the other week. Fulham, you're not getting my address. You can have Grant's after that comment. I'm not. Oh my days.
Luca Murphy then decided, no, I don't want to train with Hartlepool. So he refused to go to training, didn't turn up, and then we had no option but to release him from his contract. A couple of weeks after he was released, Fulham decide to snap him up on a free, paying absolutely nothing to the club and not giving any compensation, despite Hartlepool bringing him through their ranks from, I think it says it's either the age of 6 or the age of 9.
It was
They brought
9.
him up
I read
from the age
9.
of 9. So we get absolutely nothing from Fulham because it was the National League didn't cover that at that point. So this has been chased down for years to try and get compensation from Fulham. And eventually they've now given in. They've had to pay us a 6-figure sum. But what's even better for this is now Fulham have had to release Luca Murphy. He's been released. He doesn't have a club. So it just goes to show he's just not there anymore. He's gone. He's not
right. So I thought you meant they had to release him based on this.
No, they have released him. He's no longer at Fulham anymore. So I think this just goes to show a lot of young players that the grass isn't always greener. Just because you've got a big club looking at you doesn't mean you need to go chasing that Premier League dream. Doesn't mean you need to go chasing that Championship dream. Allow the clubs that you're at to develop you. You owe them that. Unless, maybe prove yourself in the first team, but just because you're a young breakout player doesn't mean you need to go somewhere like that. Find yourself, find your roots in the lower leagues. Find your roots in the National League. Build yourself up.
Well,
he's been out. He's been released for a year nearly now as well.
Yeah.
He's nowhere.
I reckon he'll probably be in AEW next week anyway. With the Fulham
Everyone goes to AEW.
Snaky dealings from Fulham.
Yeah, that's dodge.
Fuck you, Richard Osman.
Do you remember, Chris? I was saying when Grant told me. Do you remember when it happened to us, Chris, with Mark Stewart?
Yeah, I do.
The thing is, that wasn't. So we signed Mark Stewart under the Bosman rule, which I believe it's under 25. It's because in Scotland the Bosman rule is a year older. So when we signed him, if we'd have got him from an English club, there'd have been no fee to pay. We'd have been okay. But in Scotland, it goes. There's a year difference.
Yeah.
So we ended up getting Mark Stewart, who I will say now, I don't think he watches this. I'm not.
Was absolutely fucking
terrible. And he cost us £250,000. We had to pay Falkirk.
Did he not cost us 300?
No, 250. We went right through it because Scott, one of our friends, and Richard, they're Falkirk fans. Obviously, Grant lives there.
They laugh.
It's honestly constantly brought up.
Didn't he go back there as well? No, he went somewhere dodgy.
He went in Scotland.
Yeah, I did.
Did you not send Falkirk Jack Compton though in revenge for that?
No, we got him from them.
Oh, did you get Compton from Falkirk as well?
Compton was all right for us, He was all right for us.
I'm not going to hear it. Nah, I'm not entertaining that at all.
In fact, I'm sure. Didn't he score at Ellen Road? Didn't he score in the cup?
Yeah, he did. We lost 2-1. Mark Stewart and Jack Compton tore Leeds apart in that one little run.
I can see Jack Compton probably scored and then pissed in the centre circle.
The thing with Jack Compton was, if Jack Compton had believed what other people at the club were saying about him, he'd have been okay. The problem was Jack Compton believed the voice in his head. I remember him saying, and it's up there with what's he called? Fondop. It's up there with Fondop talking about being a mixture of Messi and Ronaldo. Compton said that he would play for Barcelona one day.
Mate, Braithwaite plays for Barcelona. Anything's possible.
What he meant was Barcelona C. Right.
So that was a bit of an extended anything else, guys. So thanks for putting up with my boring old voice. Anyway, guys, once again, thank you very, 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 very much for listening to us talk nonsense for the last hour and a bit of your lives, taking up all your time. You always look really confused when I'm doing this. Don't forget, like us on Facebook, share our post, share it far and wide. We don't see enough shares. We want to see you doing it a little bit more. Give us something back other than just listen to this. Let someone else hear us. Put us on them. Make their day just that little bit better. Follow us on our Facebook page. Subscribe to us on Spotify. Rate us whatever the hell you want. We don't rate us whatever the hell you want. Rate us 5 stars. Comment whatever. Comment whatever the hell you want. Call us all arseholes. We don't care. Yeah, it's a bit of fun. Yeah, rate us 5 stars. Follow us on Twitter. Join in on our Discord. We always have a match day live. One of us is usually in it to have a wee chat with, even just to shoot the shit and have a bit of fun in our general chat, off-topic chats, just whatever. It's good fun. Have a laugh. Guys, thank you once again. We've been the lower league. Look.
I still feel like I did it better.